rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Hello and welcome to Motor Point Arena here in Nottingham for the inaugural SLB Cup Finals. We have an incredible doubleheader for you today, where the B-Bronze Sheffield Sharks take on the Surrey 89ers. But first, we kick things off with the women, where the B-Bronze Sheffield Hatters take on the Oakland Wolves. It is finals day. As the players arrive, you see it there. The Sheffield Hatters making their first trip to the finals in 6 seasons. Will they be lifting the cup here? And for the opponent, the Oakland Wolves, heartbreak in January at that trophy final loss against the Caledonia Gladiators. But will they be able to change their fortune here for the cup final? We shall see. Well, welcome Courtside. Thanks for joining us on this pinnacle day here in the SLB. Thanks for joining us. The action will be happening right behind me as we got the Oakland Wolves and the Sheffield Hatters battling it out today at Motor Point Arena. And right beside me, I am flanked by greatness. Silver Commonwealth medalist Siobhan Pryor. Siobhan, what a great day for British basketball. The cup, not many days come around like this, but more importantly, happening in your backyard.
I know. Didn't know if I would ever see the day. So exciting to have the SLB host the cup finals here in Nottingham. Motor Point Arena doing a great job so far, and I'm sure not just the people at Nottingham, everyone watching at home and all across the UK, people are excited to see what's happening on court today.
Well, speaking on court, I need you to paint this for us. Describe the environment that these ladies will be walking out to tonight.
It's exciting. I think first and foremost, it's always exciting, right? The week leading up to it, a little bit nerve-wracking, but you focus on the practices, you focus on moments getting better as a team. Maybe last night you had a few dreams of lifting the trophy, but as soon as you're at breakfast with the team this morning running out into the arena, it's about the game plan. It's about what do we do to win the game today.
And I would like to assume that both teams didn't get much sleep last night. But speaking of the Hatters, the Oakland Wolves, are these the best 2 teams in the SLB?
Well, the standings say so. Oaklands are at the top and Sheffield there at second. I think sometimes Newcastle can catch people sleeping, as you know, Oaklands have found out. But these are definitely the top 2 teams in the league right now. And if I think you're going to pick a final, I'd pick these 2 teams for a good game.
Well, let's dig back to that memory bank of yours. What did your preparation look like as you were getting ready for a final?
I have to go way back.
Way back.
Way back in the memory. For me, I just tried to approach them as normal games, just scouting report, making sure I was eating right, sleeping right. I let myself enjoy the moment, walk on the court and see things, but then it was down to business.
That's right. Business needs to be taken care of. Well, let's zero in on the Oakland Wolves. This is their second final, so let's remind ourselves of that trophy final back in January against the Caledonia Gladiators and how they were able to get here for this cup final.
What a game it's been. 21.2. McRae, tough mid-range. Oh, what a bucket! What a bucket! For the trophy championship. Ball is loose. Da Silva. Oh no! It's short, and Caledonia have won in dramatic circumstances.
I wouldn't say we didn't deserve it, but that was probably the worst game we've played all season. And we didn't recognise ourselves. The coaches didn't recognise us.
had moments throughout the season where we've really peaked and we've had really good moments in games, but that consistency to be able to go across 40 minutes, and that's the reflection on the trophy final. I mean, we just didn't have enough players that showed up, played the Oaklands way for long enough, and ultimately gave the opportunity, obviously, for Caledonia to walk away as winners.
2025, Betty Cadona, trophy champions, the Caledonia Gladiators.
I don't think we can get to that stage again and not win. Like, we're too good to not win.
I think we're resilient. Sometimes we get in our heads, and because we don't play on a big court and we're not used to playing in front of huge crowds, I think we get nervous in the big moments. But I think practice that we had in that game in Birmingham will be huge for us in these upcoming big games that we have.
It's kind of like we get a second chance to prove why Oaklands are so good.
It was a huge history-making moment for us to get to the trophy final, so to follow it up with a cup final was fantastic for the programme, for the team, and obviously we get a chance to go and right a few wrongs that we had in that last final.
Sheffield's a tough team for sure. They've brought in a few new players since we last played them, so we'll have to adjust to that.
They play really physical basketball. Georgia Gale is a standout for them, but a few of their imports have really started to find their groove now.
Every position, and we have a substitute for every position, so we have backup point guards, backup shooters, backup post players, and everyone brings a different thing to the game.
We understand now what we need to do and the way we need to do things.
This time round, I think there's going to be a little bit more focus on the outcome, about making sure that we get over the line, get the win, come back with a cup that we deserve.
We know we're capable, and now we have to just show everybody else that we are. We'll be celebrating. That's how it'll be different.
Well, life is all about second chances, and according to da Silva, they will be celebrating this time around.
Well, she seems pretty confident. They seem a little bit more relaxed this time round, I would say. That's definitely what I got from the VT, and if they play relaxed, it'll be exciting for us to watch.
Well, I'm not sure if I want to share this with the public, but both of us have lost in finals. How long do you think that this matchup here that happened in January would be weighing on these ladies' minds?
You know, like you said, we've both been there. I think the losses still stick in my mind, but I think it definitely pushes the loss further back in your mind if you can lift a trophy in one of the finals to come. So a win today will do it. Will help them to do that.
And when we reflect back on this game, it didn't seem like they were able to show the best version of themselves.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you talk to the staff and the players about that, they were a little disappointed, not in the loss, yes, but in the way that they just didn't play with the same joy and freedom, and they weren't as relaxed as they have been in the season. So you can expect that that'll be a focus point for them today.
And more importantly, their big-time players are going to have to step up.
Big-time players have to step up, right? Sam Ashby had a great semi-final, 22 points, 6 of 11 from 3. And Fotu was big in that game as well. So we'll see if she gets extended minutes today and see what happens.
Well, speaking of Fotu, there she is right there on your screens. And that trophy finals didn't really feature much, but since then she has really stepped up.
Yeah, she's really stepped up. Like we said, she had 12 points in the semi-final, 4 rebounds as well. She's really one of those players who just does a little bit of everything. She's been a standout player from New Zealand, so she's been a big player her whole life, and she knows what these moments are for. She didn't get her chance in the last final, but it'll be exciting to see the impact she can have on her team if she gets that opportunity today.
I mean, you can almost describe her like a glue guy.
She's definitely a glue guy, and I think, you know, she does all the little things that keep the team ticking over. She's a great defensive threat as well.
Is she this team's best defender?
I think Shanice Beckford-Norton might have something to say about that. She's a great defender, though. 2.2 steals on the season per game.
Well, finally, you know, with the Oakland Wolves, they've been in the basement of the league for many, many years. What's been the turning point that we have seen this success this season?
You know, I think they've built things the right way, and just recently they've had some investment, which is always helpful, and Michael's done a great job of building the team. They've got some great British players this year, and I think that goes a long way to having success in the SLB.
Well, elaborate on that. Specifically in women's sport, how important is investment?
you've seen it. I mean, we're seeing it now. It used to be, let's invest in women's sport because it's the right thing to do. Now let's invest in women's sport because we can get something back from it. It's exciting. It's what people want to see. We see it across the board. And it happens year on year in British basketball in the UK. Where the investment goes, success follows.
Well, investment is key. And one of Oakland's key players is her right there, Sam Ashby, GB international star, and her journey has taken her all across the globe.
Obviously, I've been playing basketball for a long time, and I don't think I've ever been on a team that has gotten along like this. Obviously, winning does help, but honestly, I even think if we were losing, that we all would still get along really well. So I was born in London. I only lived there for 3 years, so I don't remember any of it. My family then moved to Singapore for the next 8-9 years, and I guess that's where I got my accent, because I went to an international Australian school there. And then we moved to Australia to be closer to family when I was 12, and then lived there until college and now. I picked up basketball when I was 9. It wasn't a choice. One of my best friend's moms just showed up at my house and was like, "You're coming to training today?" And I was like, "Okay." Got there, picked it up kind of fast, and actually ended up really enjoying it, so just kept playing from there on. Last year, I was a key part of Riders towards the end of the year. I wanted to come into this team and prove that I am worth a lot more than I think I was given credit for in that team, and just being able to prove that in this team and showing the level that we've got to has been really huge for me this year. I have changed a lot just mentally and knowing my role more as a player. As of this year, I've seen myself more as a key player in a team, and to understand that I actually am important and I'm not just a space filler. Lee really showed his value for me. Obviously, no matter where you go, you want the coach to value you. As much as you need your personal confidence, to have that confidence from your coach is huge and will make a huge difference throughout your season. This year has gone so much better than I expected, and now looking forward to these upcoming finals we have is huge. I think we've shown that we deserve to win. I don't think about what it would feel like to win it. I do think about what it's going to feel like in the atmosphere and how scared I am, how nervous I am, especially because of last game, how we didn't perform, and I really hope that this game we can perform a lot better. It was insane being in that atmosphere, playing there. That is the reason we play basketball. That is my favourite place to be, even though my heart is going so fast every second of the game. That is literally the reason we play, for games like that.
I think it's fair to say that we wanted a little bit more out of her out of that trophy final, but that's an aberration, because since then she's the only player on the team that's points per game has risen. Has she become this team's #1 option?
You know, she would say so, and it's really nice on the VT to hear her be so confident and wanting that role. She leads the team in points per game in the season at 15, shooting 38% from behind the arc, so she's definitely a go-to player offensively for them.
Well, you see her knocking it down here. 20 for 38 from beyond the arc since February. As a former shooter like yourself, what does it feel like to be in that type of groove?
You just want it to last. I think
forever.
Forever. It's normal, right, for a shooter to go through ups and downs and slumps sometimes. But she's in a groove right now, and I think we might see that today.
Well, I mean, you were 25 of 42 back in 2018. I don't know if you remember that. What were you eating?
I was just eating my greens. I was just eating my greens.
Well, Sam Ashby mentioned there in the VT, along with Michael Ball, this team's togetherness. How have you seen that translate on the floor?
Yeah, they talk about that a lot. The staff talk about that. Everybody at the franchise talks about that. It's important for them that they get along, and you see it on the floor. They flood the floor on offense. They know where each other's going to be. They lead the league in fast break points, 18.3 per game. And when they play with joy, and the joy that they have off the court translates onto the court, they're really fun to watch.
Well, that is the Oakland Wolves. Let's shift our attention over to the Sheffield Hatters, and how they got to this showpiece final, along with their history against today's opponent.
Our goal at the start of the season was always to reach the cup final. With the team we have, we knew we should be always fighting for silverware.
The Newcastle game was a very statement game for us, showing like we can be in the games with the best and what we're capable of. So I think it will help us going into this game against Oakland.
Yeah, it was a great game. We just had spells where we played really, really well, and then spells where we didn't, and then Newcastle really capitalised on the times we weren't playing well. But, you know, it made for a good game. We kept going 12 points up, couldn't fight back. And it's just for us then about being a bit more consistent.
I think our opponents, they are tough, physical, relentless, just like us. We lost to them. We lost to Oakland in regular season, and I don't like losing to teams twice.
Oaklands are a really tough team. No matter who's on the floor, they can sub their whole bench. It's really important that we lock in defensively. It is going to be a tough game. It's definitely going to go down to the wire, but every team is beatable.
As a coach, you've got to really set the atmosphere, so it's just another game.
I played in finals previously, but I was a lot younger and there was less expectation of me. But now, being a leader of the team and one of the leading scorers, I feel a little bit more pressure. Pressure makes diamonds.
Telling myself, like, we got to do everything that we can to win this game. We got to be physical. We got to be tough. We got to be relentless. We got to be disciplined.
As long as we do our best, as long as we can compete and we're out there to, to give it a go, that's all I can ask for from my players.
We can play with the best and we can win against the best.
Well, I'm listening to Singleton, and they didn't come here to participate. They belong.
They do belong. They belong for years, Drew. The most winningest club in women's British basketball history. And they've been on this stage before. Generations before them haven't won, so this is nothing new for them.
Well, if they're going to get it done today, they got to rely on role players such as Nina Crisper.
Yeah, what a role player she's been. In the semi-final, a near triple-double with 14 points. 12 assists, 9 rebounds for her. She just gets it done. She's a forward for them who really plays well with Singleton as well, and it's important since Washington's been out that she stepped up and those two are clicking really well.
And you don't see players of that type of size that can move like that, pass like that. Very versatile player.
Yeah, very versatile, and she can stretch it out as well to the three. She can hit the three if she's open and she's got time and space.
Well, with this Sheffield organization, 4 years ago, they withdrew for financial reasons. How great is it to see this team back?
I mean, they just belong. I've erased that from my memory that there was that season missing. It just never, you can't have women's British basketball without the Sheffield Hatters, and it's great to see them back thriving.
Well, let's flip over to the hometown girl, GB International, Shauna Harrison. Describe her skill set.
She's just a baller. She's an old-fashioned baller. She scores in any way that she can. She had 21 points, 3 of 4 from 3 in that semi-final over Newcastle. But Shauna is Sheffield born and bred. She grew up playing at the club as a junior. She can really stroke it from anywhere. Mid-range, she can get to the rim, she can shoot from deep. It's really nice to see her starting to establish herself on the international stage with GB as well.
And watching her highlights, she loved to get out to those corners, and the Oakland Wolves got to make sure they locate her in transition.
Really, really important for Oaklands. They do so well in transition themselves, but you're so right, you cannot leave Shauna open. If she has an open rhythm catch and shoot, it's going down.
And she joined the Hatters at 7 years old. You would know from experience playing for the hometown team. How special is that?
It's so special, and I think the relationships that you build are so special too. So she's been coached by Vanessa for so long now. I don't even know how many years. Naomi, who's on the bench as assistant coach too, she's played with her. She's played with Georgia growing up. There's nothing more special than building something from the ground up and being in really important moments together.
And speaking of special, I mean, look at that suit that Vanessa has on. She knows how big this moment is.
Special suit for a special lady.
Exactly. Well, speaking of Harrison, do you have any idea who her inspiration is?
I do not.
Georgia Gale.
Not surprising. There you go. Sheffield Hatter through and through.
Not a surprise at all, as Georgia has been continuing her family's legacy with Sheffield. Let's hear what it means to rep for the Hatters.
I always knew I was good. I'm not trying to be cocky, but my parents also instilled that mentality in me anyways. Playing at 8 years old with 13-year-olds, I had to find a way to survive. And then I always played up, so it always made me better within my age group. I was tiny. We'd have to like trip over all my shorts and we'd have to tape the kit so it would fit. Nearly 20 years ago now. I definitely thought I'd still be playing. I think it was hard to picture back then being able to be fully professional because of where we were at and how we didn't have a lot of money. My grandma did so much work to help keep the club going. But I'm so grateful for where we are now, being able to play every day and being able to coach too and help within the club. I'm a leader on this team first. I felt like my role at the start of the season was to score, but I feel like slowly as the season's gone on, the team's adapted that it's less about scoring, it's more about leading and keeping people together. But I definitely will look to score, create for other people. If you ain't gonna guard me, I'll shoot it. For me, it means so much to be able to play with all the kids that I coach, watching. Doing it for Sheffield is huge for me. I know we haven't played in finals for a while, but I feel like every game's important no matter what. So to me, it kind of is just another game. With my nan starting the club 64 years ago, she was very, very influential in basketball. My mum and Ness, my auntie, have done so much too. So for me, being the next generation, I want to keep that momentum going. So maybe in the future, I'll be coaching our SLB team. We'll see. I just know as soon as I step on the court, the nerves will go. So I just have to kind of stay calm. Just got to breathe through it in the warm-up and then just get on with it when you're on the court.
Well, pressure make diamonds, but they also burst pipes. Tell us about the weight that's on her shoulders, Siobhan.
You know, I think she talked about it a lot there. Her family is Sheffield Hatters basketball, you know, and I kind of felt that same pressure when I played as well at Nottingham. And I think Georgia, she has such a big role on the team. She's 16.9 points per game, so she's the team's second leading scorer. That's a pressure in itself. But what we know about Georgia is that she likes the big moment. She's gritty, and I know that she's going to come out on this stage today. She's playing for more than just a win. She's playing for family legacy. She's playing for a club legacy, and when you've got something so big to play for, it kind of takes the nerves out of the way.
Well, let's dig into her game. Talk about her evolution, because it seems like everything is just starting to come together for her.
She's always been a really smart basketball player, both offensively and defensively, has the ability to put the ball in the rim from close to the rim, but also from three as well. She's leading the league right now in three-point percentage, 45% from beyond the arc. So she's always done those things, but she just does them so much better at such a higher level now. And she dishes the ball out too. 5.7 assists, she leads the team. So, you know, she can get it done herself, but she makes her teammates better around her, and that is who Georgia is, and that's who she's always been.
A career high in steals and points. Is she the best British player in the league? Yes. I'm coming at you.
You know I sit on the fence, Drew. I can't give you an answer to that. But what I can say is she is one of my favourite British players in the league. I enjoy what her family have done for the game, and I enjoy seeing her thrive off the back of that.
Well, I will let you off the hot seat. The players have spoken. Now let's hear from the coaches as Kaz caught up with Oakland Wolves Lee Ryan and Hatters Vanessa Ellis.
Lee, back on the big stage after making the trophy final in January, how have you used that experience to prepare the team for today?
Yeah, we've obviously reflected on it shortly afterwards, and I think this time round it's more about the game. The experience last time was amazing for the club, for the franchise to get there for the first time, but preparation this time has been about the game itself. Let the atmosphere take care of itself, focus on the game, focus on the opposition we're playing, and get to work really.
And Oaklands are known for their fast-paced style of basketball. How do you ensure you come out strong and play your type of game today?
Yeah, we've got to do it both ends of the floor. Yeah, we've got to try and speed them up a little bit. Obviously, they're very strong, very physical. We want to try and neutralise their threats, but we want them to think about us. So we're going to be pushing the ball with tempo for sure.
And the success of the franchise has been amazing to see this season. 2 finals, first place in the league. What will it mean to the club to bring home the first piece of silverware today?
Oh, it'll be everything. It'll be everything. We've worked really hard. Obviously, it's a very long time. Even before we were in the Pro League, a long time building through the academy and then working towards what we've got now. So I think it's just a bit of a testament back to everybody that's put that work in over a decade. So it'll be fantastic to be able to win it.
Vanessa, yourself and the Hatters last won a cup final 6 years ago. How much of an opportunity is today's game to show people what Sheffield basketball is all about?
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here again. You know, Sheffield has a great history and, you know, winning trophies, winning titles. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to have a go and win the cup again.
And you've got the best defence in the league coming up against the second best defence in Oakland.
Yeah.
You spoke about when you played them in the season earlier, you felt it was an inconsistent style of play from yourself.
Yeah.
How do you look to correct that today?
Yeah, it's just about the work we've been putting in as a team. Each individual has to hold themselves to account. And we've just got to play together. You know, basketball's a team game and it's about coming together on the day.
And you recently marked the 250 milestone of you recently marked the 250 milestone of games coached in the top flight league. How do you use that experience to prepare for the team today?
Well, it is the experience of coaching. There's many more before, you know, the WBL SLB was set up. You know, we were coached Division 1 for Basketball England. So, you know, you can't replace experience, and I'll use every ounce of it to try and get a win today.
Well, we are moments away from tip-off, so it's only right that I pass you over to the voice of British basketball, which is Dan Routledge, along with Siobhan Pryor, who have seemed to hike it over there.
She's still got the speed, Jordan, still got the speed. What a beautiful occasion it is here in Nottingham for the first ever SLB Cup Finals. And how fitting it is that we get Sheffield back in the final. It's been too long since the Hatters, the most storied franchise in women's basketball history, has been in a final. They need to be on occasions like this.
They definitely need to be on occasions like this. They know it, you know, their fan base knows it, and it's just great to see them back here. And like, you know, Coach Ellis said, they've been here before and they're going to use every ounce of experience that they can to get themselves over the line today.
Well, they have institutional experience. At the other end of the floor, Oaklands have very recent memory, and you could hear it in the build-up, in all the interviews that they gave. They were all talking about, we're here to win this one. We enjoyed the other one as an occasion, but this is about winning.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think they probably thought with the first one, with the trophy final, that they were going to go in, do their best, try and win. But you can't really prepare yourself for it until you've been in that moment. And now they've been in that moment, they know what to expect. There's no surprises, so they can just go out and play their game.
Well, this is the Oaklands starting five: Da Silva, McGee, Pleasant, McRae, Beckford Norton and Ashby. A lot of talent, not just in the starting five, but coming off the bench. And with that mission, they feel here today that this is their moment to make history, their moment to get that first trophy.
Yeah, they just play so well together, don't they? And I think we talked about it at the top of the show, but when they're really gelling, when they're moving the ball, when they're running the floor, it's so exciting to watch them.
And at the other end of the floor, the Sheffield Hatters, again, another team that's had some good investment this season, put together a really quality lineup through. And maybe, do they come in as slight underdogs? Is this a coin toss game for you?
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because when you think of the name Sheffield Hatters, I'm not sure in the same sentence you can put the word underdog. But obviously they have lost to Oakland this year when they've only played each other once, and they came out on the bottom of that contest. But you know, I think Sheffield, I spoke to George before the game, they want to avenge that. They're out for a little bit of revenge, and I wouldn't be surprised today if, yes, okay, they're second in the league, maybe technically they're the underdog, but I wouldn't be surprised if they came out here really give Oaklands a run for the money.
Well, this team has been in 50-odd finals through their history. As you say, it's almost muscle memory when you pull that Hatters shirt on. This is where you're supposed to be. This is where you are supposed to challenge. Vanessa talked about it in her interview. We talk a little bit about her experience in the last 10 years of SLB WBBL. But before that, she was winning titles left, right, and centre as a coach. And before that, she has the second most titles of anybody in the history of women's basketball as a player. The top five are all Sheffield players, obviously. But she, in herself, has more experience than anybody of occasions like this.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting because in her interview she said, I just want them to do their best. You don't often hear coaches say that, and I think that kind of speaks to how relaxed she is. You know, she wants another win. She's hungry for another win. Doesn't do anything for her personally, and I think that's such a nice position to be in as a coach. There's no pressure on her. She wants her players to play their best, and she wants them to shine.
Well, Kevin Kinsella alongside Kate Unsworth and Dan Cox are officials for the finals. They just need to turn the lights on. There we go. And we can get things underway. It is the 2025 Super League Basketball Cup Finals Day. We've got the women up first. Sheffield hoping for a double-header today, but Oakland's looking for their first ever title against the team that have more than anybody else in the history of basketball. We are underway, and it is the Hatters who get the first possession. Here's Gale. Gets it right back on the handoff. Little hesitation. Goes to the rim strong off the glass, and that's gone out off the hands of Georgia Gale, so it will be an Oakland's ball.
I mean, that's the player they need to come out and start strong. We knew that that's what she was going to do. She takes the lane straight to the rim. Those will start to go down.
Beckford Norton, the most successful player in recent seasons, of course, in the league. Ball knocked loose. McRae able to come up with it, and that's off the mark. Singleton with the rebound. Gale again looking to turn the corner, again getting to the rim. This time she finishes.
Yeah, you can see her intention already. She's coming out to play strong today.
Ashby looking to get into the key. No room at the end there. She has to throw it up high. McGee Pleasant able to recycle, but it didn't hit the rim, so there's low numbers on the shot clock now. Does Beckford Norton see it? McRae's going to have to heave one. Tough shot doesn't go. Harrison inside to Singleton. Good footwork underneath to find room for two.
Yeah, really patient underneath. And just a little calmer start, I think, from Sheffield.
Ashby. Oh, nice move, getting all the way to the rim, but can't finish.
And she's going to be the one that's going to have to get them going.
Well, Sheffield looking very relaxed out there in the first couple of minutes. The first 4 points of the game. Here's Singleton. Pressured out on the three-point line, looking to back down. Too strong.
Good strong defense from Da Silva. It's going to be an exciting battle in the paint there.
Ashby. Out it comes to Beckford Norton. Beckford Norton sprinting through the lane. McRae with the offensive rebound, and finally Oakland's on the board.
And that really came off of the movement from Lavinia da Silva. She slipped the screen there because she knew Beckford Norton was going to turn the corner, and just leaves McRae open for the offensive rebound off the rotation defensively.
It's a tough pass to Singleton. It's ricocheted out of bounds. It will stay with the Hatters, but they only have 4.3 seconds on the clock. Singleton wide open on the pass, can't make the jump shot, and Beckford Norton brings it away for the Wolves. Beckford Norton goes all the way to the basket. Again, a little too easy perhaps that.
I think Gandini tried to go underneath the screen, which is the right thing to do on Shanice, but she's just so quick, and if she gets her head and shoulders past you, you're struggling to get back in front.
Gale trying to lay it in. Hatters get it back. Harrison with the mid-range and drops it in for 2.
So far it is the players that have grown up in the Sheffield programme that are doing it for the team today.
A lot to ask of Da Silva to catch and finish that from that position. Gale wants it back up top, eventually does get it. Gale again to the rim, trying to draw a foul, doesn't get a whistle. She's on the floor, so Oaklands can run. They've got 4 on 2 here. Evie Pleasant is the wide open shooter and knocks down the 3.
Yeah, it's tough for Gandini there. She has to play in between 2. Want to see Pleasant on the 3-point line stroking them too early if you're a Sheffield fan.
Well, you and Drew were talking about shooting and big occasions like this. You get to a final and the first 3 goes up and in, you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah, it settles those nerves a little bit.
A little too aggressive on the defense there, and the foul is called. Can't allow Gale too much room, but maybe a little too aggressive on that one.
Yeah, it's hard to guard Georgia as well, because she uses physicality. She likes it to get her head and shoulder past as well. She likes the physicality. She's looking for it.
There she goes again, off 1 foot off the mark. Ball battered about. Great rebound on the floor from Gandini, and Sheffield will get a new 14. They don't need it though, because the 3 ball goes up and they get another offensive rebound, this time through Gale. I thought for a second they were going to get a third, but it's Ashby who comes away with it. She's on her own. She doesn't need anybody else.
She'll be happy to see that one go. Oaklands need to make sure they're boxing out though. Sheffield lead the league in offensive rebounds per game, so need to make sure they're one and done.
Singleton was desperate for her inside, and she got what she wanted, and that is why an easy lay. And here's Beckford Norton pushing quick and taking it hard to the rim. Foul is called, and Shanice Beckford Norton will go to the line. It was a little slow to her feet, but you could see why Singleton wanted the ball. She had that good position, and it was just about the right entry pass.
Yeah, I was just going to say the entry pass was just perfect from Shauna Harrison, really perfectly weighted. It wasn't in the air too long, and it landed exactly where Singleton could catch and finish.
Keeping an eye on Colin to land hard on that foul, and looked a little uncomfortable on the rebounding. We've got to get across the line there. Was that a cross? I think it was, there wasn't much in it. Gandini off the mark, Elliott with the rebound. McRae gets it, but as you say, crashing the glass. Beckford Norton with the offensive foul for the push-off. And that will go back to the Hatters.
Really fast-paced game so far. Gandini does a great job here of selling that one, I think.
Just sort of put a hand in the way to be pushed off, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Gale.
Really see Oaklands out in the passing lanes.
Oh, nice pass. And a good finish at the end of it as well for Walker. Nice hands from Walker, but Ashby able to keep possession. Ashby backs away for 3, off the mark. That'll go all the way out of bounds for a Hatters possession.
Yeah, interesting. I think I'll be fighting over the top on Ashby. Make her beat you from in and around the rim.
Well, it's noticeable here in the first quarter that Coach Ellis seems to be rotating the team pretty quickly. It's sort of 2-3 minute bursts. And
I think,
sit down.
Yeah, I think it's smart though, because it's a big stage, and for some of them they've been on a big stage before, for others maybe not. So just to have your feet on the floor, to have the ball in your hands, play a couple of possessions is really helpful for later on in the game.
Well, that ball slipped out of the hands, but fortunately there was a foul called, so I think Gale will shoot 2 as a result of that.
Substitution, Sheffield Hatters returns to the game. George Gale heads to the bench for Breland.
Call for the foul. I think both coaches would be pretty pleased here. They seem to have settled into the game pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Sheffield first. Usually as soon as you see the ball go through the net, that's when everything settles down, because the pressure builds, right? The more the ball doesn't go through the hoop, the more the next shot is so much more important. But this is the game we expected to see, a back and forth between the two teams.
Certainly feels it's got a higher pace to it than the trophy final did. And that is some credit to Caledonia, the way they muddied that game up to win it. Hatters with the steal through Crispa. Crispa rolling to the rim, pass a little behind her. Good hands. McRae, can she keep it in bounds? Not quite. And that will go back to Sheffield. Just a question as to whether she'd got control of the ball and therefore the Hatters will get a full shot clock, or whether we go back to where it was in that situation. Looked to me like she had, and
yeah, tried to throw it back in bounds.
Oh, that pass is not a great one, but Walker's able to recover. Set shot from 16 feet short for Walker.
The pressure up the floor from Oaklands is causing Sheffield to rush a couple of shots.
Well, they've lost Ashby a couple of times. She makes them pay that time.
Yeah, easy catch and shoot. That's what she does best.
Oh, good hands and numbers here. Fotu out in front will get the easiest layup, and he needed the hole in the ring to go in. And Vanessa Ellis sees 2 plays, and that's the thing in the final. Sometimes it's just a couple of plays. You go, hang on here. They've got a little bit of momentum. We need to stop things, talk it over. It'd been a good start until those last 2 plays.
Yeah, really good start until the last couple of plays. But like we said, Oakland's extending the defense. Sheffield isn't used to turning the ball over a lot. They only turn the ball over 13 times a game, which is the lowest in the whole league. So Coach Ellis is just going to be wanting to talk this over. It'll just be about basics, making sure you get open at the right time for the pass to find you at the right time, making sure you run over the ball, don't stop short. It'll just be those little things to clean up, I think. And we really can't, if you're a Sheffield fan, you really don't want to see Oakland's getting out and running in fast breaks.
Well, that's the thing. You mentioned Sheffield's numbers. Actually, Oakland's lead the league in steals at 13.3, so that's what they want to do. They lead the league in fast break points as well. Yeah. That's what they want to do, and I think that's Vanessa saw a couple of those here and was like, let's just reset, regroup while it's only a 5-point game.
Yeah, what you can't do is allow a team to get into the groove of what their A game is. You have to disrupt, and like you said, that's what we saw Caledonia do in the trophy final, and it worked well for them. So a smart timeout, just to disrupt the momentum here, and just the comfort zone that Oakland's found themselves in for those couple of possessions.
Vanessa has been an ever-present, really, in women's basketball for decades. 18 finals as a coach, another 20-odd as a player as well. Oh, another steal. Fotu again, trying to run down court with it. His battle slows it down, but gets the points, and that's not what you want to see coming out of a timeout.
No, not when you take the timeout for the specific reason to settle down, take care of the ball.
Gandini, pass wasn't in the optimum spot. And possession arrow is going to give it back to Oakland, so that's another turnover from Sheffield, and suddenly they're having difficulty getting a shot away.
Yeah, and I think now she's having to bring Singleton and Gale back off the bench, so I know they were getting a little rest there. She needs a guard out there who's going to settle down the game.
As I say, with all that experience as a coach, you know you can't leave it 2-3 plays and hope it'll sort itself out in a final. Pretty Pleasant is all on her own at the top of the key. Oh, that's a lovely pass. What an assist that is from McRae.
Real heads-up play. She saw that there were two defenders on her, which meant there must be someone open, and great movement off the ball as well. That 45 cut to cut the lane and finish.
Gale from miles out for three. Another offensive rebound, and again Singleton with it in the second attempt. Still can't convert. Vanessa Ellis pleading for a foul, but referee's not interested. Ashby throwing it a little too far in front of Battle, and that will go out of bounds for a Sheffield ball. They need a score here, the Hatters. Still stuck on 11 points. But this is that beautiful pass, and as you say, you can only have a great pass if somebody is moving off the ball, and Battle certainly was there. Potter gambling for a steal. Back it comes to Gale. Gale again smothering defense from the Wolves, and again it's number 42 out on the break. Fortu is really turning defense into offense here.
Oaklands are just doing a really good job of getting in the way of the initial entry pass for the offense for Sheffield, and they're just not letting it into the wing easy. And if it goes to the wing, it's a few steps outside of the three-point line. It's just harder to operate out there in time and space for your offense.
Well, the scores were tied at 11. Oaklands have scored the last 10 to open up this lead, and in that time Sheffield have barely got a shot off, really. They had a few scruffy ones under the basket, but they've not really had a good look. This defense has really stepped up a notch from the Wolves. Here's Gale, might get a good look. No, her pass is thrown away, but Hatters get it back. Gale will cycle back out. Desperate for a score here, Sheffield.
When they get it into the low post, good things happen for them.
That one bobbles out and can't quite get an offensive rebound. They've had a ton of them in this first quarter, 7 already, but her team can't score right now. That's the problem. Last few ticks of the first quarter. Battle under pressure. Doesn't go. That ricochets out for an Oakland's ball.
Just not the same amount of pressure on the catch as there is at the other end of the floor for Sheffield. Oakland's able to see the pass, make the pass.
McGee Pleasant trying to heave one up on the virtual buzzer, and that will do it for her first quarter. And it's starting tight, but the Oakland Wolves have taken control. They scored the last 11 points of that quarter. Work for Vanessa Ellis and her team to do here, trailing this one by 22 points to 11 in the final. And you would have thought first 6-7 minutes, this is going to be a barn burner game. It's score for score, but they squeezed the life out of them. I think the key stat on this page, bottom line there, 5 steals for the Oakland Wolves.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it all came from their defense. Like you said, that's where they play best. That's where they top the league, is in steals and points in transition, and they've been allowed to get into their comfort zone. And I think if they are continued to allow to be in their comfort zone, I think it's going to be a long night for the Hatters.
14 fast break points, 8 points off turnovers. That is how they're doing it. That's also why their shooting numbers are better. In the early 5-6 minutes, Sheffield looked very comfortable, didn't they? First 2 minutes, you would say they won that battled 2-3 minutes, but once the Wolves got on the board, it was almost like their offense fed into their defense. They toned it up a different level, and Sheffield had difficulty just getting shots up in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, and I really do think they really struggle to get the ball to the wing. When they get the ball to the wing and they get it inside, they can get it inside and out for the shots on the perimeter, but also Singleton was doing a phenomenal job on the block. And it also allows for you to gain position on an offensive rebound. It goes in, defender has to guard you, it goes out, they relax, shot goes up, you can go after those rebounds. So they really have to find a way to just start their offense with a wing entry and look to get it in again. I think good things were happening for them when that was happening.
And the interesting thing is what it's allowed them to do. We've seen Portugal in the open court. It's allowed everybody to get involved. The scoring is spread through this Oaklands team here in the first quarter. Despite the fact they've got 22, there's no real outstanding scorer. Then everybody feels good about themselves in the final.
Yeah, and everybody can relax. I think that's important further on down the game.
Well, can the Hatters regain their equilibrium here in the second quarter? Walker behind the arc for three, front iron on that. A bit of pressure here on the ball, and Crisper's able to steal it, but got too far under the basket. Whose leg did that come off? It must have been a Sheffield player, because it's going to Oaklands. I think it was Singleton's knee on the way out. Here's Sarton, hands it off to McRae. All passes off the mark. Walker's able to come up with it. She's on her own though, and wisely circles back out. Look at the pressure from Fotu. Drew was asking about her defensive prowess pre-game. She's certainly shown it here in the opening 11 minutes.
Yeah, and she just looks like she wants to play defense. She enjoys it.
Weird people, those, aren't they? The ones who really enjoy the defense.
I enjoy the physicality of it.
Yeah.
I think that's as far as it goes. Or nicking one in the passing lane.
Well,
that's
yeah,
fun.
you get a run-out layup.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Rafferty and Da Silva check into the ball game.
Sheffield still stuck on 11 points. And they got there on a free throw with 3:35 to go in the first quarter. So 4.5 minutes elapsed without a score. It's 5.5 since they got a field goal. Harrison stepping through, might get a field goal here. The wind's a little unkind to her there. That one rattled hard, but came out.
Just attacking the chest of Fotu. There's nothing you can do when the offensive player goes right at your chest and you're not in position. Really good way for Sheffield. Just get a couple of easy buckets. You can get yourself to the foul line.
Well, there's a big number of Sheffield fans in the house, as you would expect, with both the men's and women's team playing here today. And of course, it's only a short little hop down the M1 from the Steel City here to the Motor Point Arena. And they're all bedecked in their cup final t-shirt, and they were really loud in the early going. The team need to feed the fans a little something to get them to believe again. Here's Gale, but it's going to be an offensive foul for an illegal screen.
I didn't quite see because I was looking at Georgia. I don't know if she just turns into her off the handoff.
Well, let's see if we can tell on the replay. Just sort of swiveling a little bit of the hips. What's it? Shot clock down to 5 here. There's a foul off the ball. An offensive foul.
When we were talking at the top of the show about Shauna Harrison just being a baller, she's smart. She knows the game. She runs straight into Rafferty. And as soon as Rafferty extends the arm, she sells that.
Make sure the referee sees it.
Yeah, smart play from Shauna.
Here's Georgia Gale for the Hatters. Here so far in the second quarter, but there's the first field goal of this period and cuts the gap to 8. Beckford Norton, lead pass into Da Silva, takes the time, and late whistle on that one, but probably the right whistle. Would be 2 free throws for Da Silva.
Foul ball against number 14, Nigel Collier.
It's a good catch against the double team there. She does well to draw the foul, to be honest. Smart veteran player, Lavinia da Silva.
I loved that in the quotes beforehand when she said, she was asked what was going to be different this time. We're going to be celebrating this time.
Very, very confident, and they've played that way.
Yep.
You know, they didn't panic at the beginning of the game when the momentum seemed to shift to begin with to Sheffield. They stayed calm. They're doing what they do best, which is not what they did in the trophy final.
Well, can't make them from the free throw line, so 2 minutes elapsed, and Oakland's looking for their first score of this second quarter. Harrison trying to thread the needle. That's a tough pass. Oh, that's a little ahead of Ashby as well, so both teams making errors on passes there.
Substitution.
You know, I think sometimes as a coach, you're okay with some of those. When your team's really trying to run in numbers, trying to run in transition, you can take a couple of turnovers just so that they're being aggressive and they're always trying to flood the floor in transition.
Gale. Around the screen comes Harrison, strong to the rim and able to finish.
Such a crafty finisher around the rim. Looked like she was going to go up with the left and then switched it back to her right shoulder. Just keeping them going, Shauna Harrison, offensively and defensively.
Well, reeled it back into 6 with the first 5 points of this quarter. Da Silva still can't get on the board, and Sheffield cannot believe there's a foul there. The bench has got a little warning to sit down because everybody jumped up. Sheffield thought they were off and running, but this is that really tough finish, as you said.
Really smart play. She's aware of where the defenders are around her. She knows that she's got that little bit of space on her inside shoulder.
Vanessa Ellis making her point there to referee Unsworth.
And that's interesting as well because Kate was, I'm sure at some point, coached by Vanessa. She's also, when she played, she was a product of Sheffield Hatters. But that shows, doesn't it, that they have people in the game that come through their club that are still in the game and giving back to the game in such a great way.
As I say, there's nobody more experienced than Vanessa Ellis in the game. And when it comes to winning, few better, if any. Dini trying to get the offensive rebound, and that will be a jump ball.
Jump ball,
I think it was because Singleton had her foot on the sideline and touching the ball, and therefore, if one of the people is out of bounds, you're both out of bounds. Possession arrow is Oakland's. Beckford Norton. Silva hands off to Ashby. Little pump fake back to Da Silva. It's a nice offense, but crowded out by Sheffield players.
Sheffield just got a little bit confused on screen coverage. Georgia was going to chase over. Someone else switch.
Crisper wide open in the corner. Drizzles in a 3 and cuts the gap down once again.
Well, she can knock those down. We've seen that before.
4-point game. It was 11 at the start of this quarter. Tough shot. Doesn't go. Ashby with the rebound and maybe had a little hand in the back there I think Georgia Gale was after some payback there because she thought she got a little shove in the back. But this shot from Crispa, exactly what Sheffield needed.
Yeah, she came up big for them in the semi-final. Sure, we'll see that from her again today.
So her first points of the contest. Beckford Norton at the elbow. It's normally a favourite shot of hers. And that one doesn't go.
It's just that, right? The little things from Crispa. That box out forces the foul, gets possession.
I thought for a second the referee signalled unsportsmanlike, but I think it was a hold rather than unsportsmanlike. Just did it a little higher than usual. Trying to throw me off. That's another nice feed into Singleton, and Da Silva not quite straight up with the arms there, commits the foul.
A lot calmer in the offense from Sheffield. Does really well to keep her pivot foot there, Singleton.
Danielle McGray takes a breather. Ty Singleton to the line for 2.
Yeah, the Sheffield just don't seem as rushed. They're getting what they want instead of what Oaklands is forcing them to have.
It's sort of swung one way and then the other, hasn't it? This final so far. Sheffield certainly had the better of the opening exchanges. The last few minutes of the first quarter were dominated by Oaklands, and now Sheffield seem to be reeling them back in. Beckford Norton, long pass down court to Ashby, who goes past 2 defenders.
And that's what you have to stop if you're Sheffield, because when they get the ball, I mean, when any team gets the ball over the halfway line quickly, it's always going to end up positively, but that really is their bread and butter.
Legal screen. Singleton.
Second.
Yeah. It's Beckford Norton trying to fight her way around it.
Sideline possession for the Wolves through Sam Ashby.
Well, the pictures tell 1,000 words right there. Beckford Norton. Da Silva. Fouled. And that's going to be 2 free throws.
Foul called against number 20, Shauna Harrison.
Harrison it was, coming over on the help, who was called for the foul.
For 2.
It's lucky there, because that would have been Singleton's third. Felt like her hands were down a little bit.
For Da Silva.
Da Silva, who struggled thus far from the free throw line, no mistake there. Gale just gave the referee the evils there, thinking there was a foul to be called. Here's Singleton for 3. Might that bounce in? Not quite. What a thing. Oh, 3 Sheffield players crowding out, forced the turnover. They still have it, the Hatters. There's a mismatch inside if they can find the ball there. Well, Gale might not need it, goes it alone. Another offensive rebound, still can't score. Oh, Sheffield pounding the offensive glass, but not getting the second chance points that they deserve for it. Look at the physicality out there as Battle goes to the runner. Good finish.
Good, strong finish and great defense from Shauna Harrison and Crispa. Really hard hedge on that ball screen. Harrison, lots of pressure underneath on the block.
It feels like the physicality is ratcheting up with every second that ticks by. Ooh, that one went right betwixt and between. Vanessa Ellis was the person it ended up in the hands of. She could have shot it from there. She had that range.
Yeah. I think sometimes when Crispa puts the ball on the floor outside the three-point line under pressure, she looks a little uncomfortable. She's trying to find a guard to get an outlet pass to.
Da Silva from behind the arc, off the mark. And Walker's going to let that go out of bounds. Singleton. Gandini around the screen, needs a little help now. Shot clock being counted down by the Hatters fans. And foul is called.
Gandini was open off of that chin screen. Singleton just puts the ball on the floor at the wrong moment and misses it. Or Washington, sorry, I think it was.
Rafferty checking in. That one rattles out. Both teams over the limit for this quarter, which is why this is 2 free throws, but over. I always think that's one of the signs in a major final. Obviously nobody's played here before. The first time there's been a basketball final in this building. I always think it's the free throws that is the thing where you see people get used to the sight lines and it's a little bit different and the rims are a little unusual.
I think you have the time, don't you, when you're on the foul line? You kind of got the time to look at the rim, at the backboard, what's behind it, what's through it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in open play, you sort of catch and shoot in your natural rhythm.
Yeah.
You're not thinking so much about it.
1 for 2 for McGee. Plays a good box out by Gandini. Stepping across, just in case that rebound came long, and it was right to her. Gale. Fouled, so there'll be 2 more free throws.
George has been asking for those fouls all game. If Oaklands are handy, she's a smart player, just like Shauna Harrison did earlier. She's going to sell it.
Timeout called there by the Oaklands.
First timeout of the first half from Coach Ryan. He's going to talk things over, and the one worry would be for both coaches, I think. There's only Harrison at the minute who's on 3 fouls, but 3 minutes to go. It's quite a physical game. It's quite difficult to score. You don't want to send them to line, but you don't want anybody to get into foul trouble for the second half.
Yeah, and I think, Oakland's had so much success playing pressure defense without fouling, and there is a fine line. But I think that's what they need to get back to. Giving Sheffield, like cheap shots at the line is not going to help them to build their lead. But credit to Sheffield because, they have come back out stronger. They're making sure they're sprinting to the next pass, that they're open. There's always an outlet pass for whoever has the ball, and they're running over the top of the ball, getting open on the three-point line, not beyond it. All the little things that they need to do to stay in the fluidity and the rhythm of their offense they're doing.
I think it's a testament to how pleased Lee Ryan must be with how the game has gone, that we're 17 minutes in before he's called a timeout.
I mean, really, he's not needed to. I think momentum's often been in their favour. He's used his subs well. Nice position to be in for him.
Well, last action before the timeout was the foul that had sent Georgia Gale to the free throw line. And now the second one's a little short. Fortu knocked away from battle. It's time for Sheffield getting their hands in the passing lanes.
Gandini, she's got such quick hands. She's a great defender.
Crispa with the pass, sets the screen. Gale stepping through, really slowed it down. Again, Sheffield on the offensive rebound, 12 offensive rebounds. They've only scored once off those 12 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, it is a trend of theirs, interestingly. They do lead the league in offensive rebounds, but they're only 4th in second chance points.
Well, it does wear the other team down a little bit, so it's not all about the points, but really you want to get somewhere up near to 1 point per rebound, and they're a long way from that. Singleton being harassed. Great defense from Rafferty. Singleton trying to use the footwork to get round her. Beckford-Norton. Rafferty with the handoff. Beckford-Norton turns the corner, elevates high, and in off the glass. And we're going to get a timeout to Sheffield Hatters. She elevates so quickly, Beckford-Norton.
I think if in your screen coverage, if you're going to go underneath, you have to at least have a show, or you have to get underneath quickly, because you see Georgia goes underneath there, but her stance is still open. She doesn't get across parallel, and as soon as Shanice sees that she's got any kind of space past the defender's shoulder, it's game over.
Incredible athlete, great pace as well. As Coach Pryor there called it out under the screen, so you're going below the defensive, the offensive player. The idea is to cut them off and get in front of them to stop them getting to the basket. She did neither that nor the other.
Yeah, and you can see all over the floor, Sheffield, they have different screen coverages for different players. They're a smart basketball team, and it's been working well for them, but just a little, a lack of urgency maybe, or just not getting to the spot quick enough. It cost them that time.
Well, a 13-point lead, the biggest of the game so far for the Oakland Wolves. 140, so 100 seconds to play here in the first half. The Hatters, boy, they could do with a little run here, winning this last 140 and just trying to get it back into single figures.
I think the last minute here is really important, but Sheffield's first 5 have all played nearly 15 minutes plus. A little less on the minutes for Oakland, so that's going to help them towards the end of the half here, I'd say.
Rafferty with the defensive rebound. Photo again in the open court. We've seen that a lot. This time it's Oakland to grab an offensive rebound. They've had fewer than Sheffield, but they've got more second chance points. Beckford-Norton for a long two. And that one's out of bounds, misses everything.
Out of bounds. Sheffield Hatters possession from the baseline.
Gale calling the play. Walker. Back to Gale. Gale, 5 on the shot clock. Again, forcing her way to the rim. What a tremendous finish. Wanted an and one as well.
Yeah, and I think that time she goes really strong, but see how soft she was with her hands. That's the difference. She's gone so hard at the rim in the previous possessions and then just gone a little bit too hard off the glass.
Ashby, you don't want to go under that screen. She knocks down the three.
No, you have to go over the top of that.
Threat very much the shot there rather than the drive. Here's Crispa trying to get those back. Doesn't go. Gandini needs to be quick here. And they just run out of time. And what a great first half that has been for the Oakland Wolves. They've dominated that period just at the end of the first quarter. Sheffield came back at the start of the second, but Wolves regained their momentum and will take the biggest lead of the game into the locker room at 37 points to 23. Vanessa Ellis has been to so many finals as a player and a coach, and well, she's going to have her work cut out here if the Hatters are to get back into the winning circle today. It's very much advantage Oaklands right now. They will be delighted with that 20 minutes, both ends of the floor, how they played defensively, really good, put a lot of pressure on Sheffield, made it very difficult for them to convert, and that is why the Hatters are shooting down in the 20s percentage-wise, 1 for 8 from 3. They've also missed 6 free throws as well, and it's tough when you're doing that and not getting second chance points. They've done a really good job, 13 offensive rebounds, but only the 2 second chance points, and Oakland's getting points from turnovers as well. So those 7 steals have helped them to another 10 points, and all of those little things add up to make the score a little bit more comfortable, and Sheffield have got to find some way in the second half to get this one back into control. Well, it's 37-23 here. Let's go back to the studio and Drew.
Well, thank you, Dan. And Siobhan, if I could sum up that first half, it looked like Oakland's a team that's played in the finals before, and Hatters look a little bit inexperienced. 25% isn't going to get it done.
Yeah, I think credit to Oaklands, the defense that they've played. They're really pushing Sheffield up, out of their comfort zone, off the three-point line. You know, you see the shooting percentages are really, really low for Sheffield, and that's credit to the Oaklands defense. No shot has been easy for Sheffield Hatters tonight.
And from a Hatters perspective, what do they need to do offensively to be able to combat that tenacious Oaklands defense?
You know, I think in the moments where they've taken their time, they've just caught the ball. It's real basic stuff, right? But just caught the ball, faced up, not put it on the floor first, surveyed what was in front of them. When they get it inside to the post as well, I think we see good things happening, just getting the ball in and out.
We'll definitely need to get their star player, Georgia Gale, to step up. Early in the game, she came out aggressive. We talked about the weight on her shoulders. Is she pressing a little bit?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think we talked about it in comms that she's doing so well getting to the rim. She's really taking a lot of contact, but then she looks like when she gets to the rim, she's just rushing a little bit. The last layup that we saw, that nice little scoop on the left from her, it was a lot calmer, a lot softer at the rim, but she had the physicality before it still. That's the balance that she needs to find.
And what really got Oakland's going offensively was the ability of da Silva to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she's a vet. She's done a really good job today, as she always does, of just moving off the ball. You know, she's constantly moving, constantly creating for other people, creating other space for other people. But like you said, she's doing her job as well, getting to the rim when she can and getting to the foul line too.
Well, one thing that we always talk about in finals, scoring is very difficult to come by, and you see the ball rimming out a little bit. How much of a factor is the new balls, tight rims, brand new environment playing a factor?
Yeah, you know, I think it does, especially in the first quarter. I actually thought the teams came out quite calm to begin with and just tightened up a little bit after that. But for Oakland's, really what they've done is just get out in transition, 10 points in transition, fast break points for them already. And when you've got wide open layups like that, you can't miss those. So they've done a good job at that.
Well, we talked about da Silva's ability to get to the free throw line, but she has been applying her trade in the Euro baskets for Portugal. Let's see what it means for her to come back home.
I was in the league when I started with Brixton Top Cats. We won D2, they got promoted, and then it became WBL. So played for 7-8s, played for Brixton Top Cats at the time, and then played for the Lions. After that, I went pro for maybe like 14 years I was away. My family moved to the UK when I was 6, and I've lived there since. But I've been going back to Portugal from like 2011. I played there for 4 years, so I'm just always back and forth. But I have a British accent because I'm always here. So for the first time ever in history, Portugal have made it to Eurobasket. We've literally been working hard for the whole time I've been there. That's been 14 years, and I've got players that have been working hard at it for even longer. We've had the same coach, most of the same players, so we know what we've like put ourselves through with all the training camps, like in the summers, and never coming as close to beating an amazing team like Serbia. It's amazing. It was just like the crowd were very happy. They played the national anthem and we were just crying. We had a little jump and then we just started crying because we knew how much it meant for us. We really believed and we really achieved it, and it's like, I think, one of the best moments ever. We didn't play our best game and we lost by 2 points. Like, coming into the next finals, I feel like we know that we're at that level, we know that we can be higher than that. Our team is tough. We have like 10 players that anybody can start, anybody can have a great game. So just like locking in and knowing that we can do it, that's all we needed to do. And I think that's what we're gonna do for the next time. We're focusing more on what we do, because if we do what we do, it's gonna be harder for people to stop us. You know, focus more on us. It'll be the first time ever that Oakland's qualified. It'll be really nice to do that for Lee and for Beth and for people that have come through this club. It'll mean something.
What a beautiful piece, but we talked about at the top of the show, Da Silva with an opportunity to tie it in that trophy final. Has she shaken off the nightmares of that final?
Yeah, I definitely think so. She's an old head, right? You know, and I think we talked about she's such a selfless player. Doesn't matter where she plays, what her role is, she will do whatever the team needs to help them to win, and she's doing that today.
Well, we keep talking about it. This game requires your stars to step up. Sam Ashby didn't have the best version of herself in that trophy, but already more points than she had in that entire game in that first half.
She looks more relaxed. She looks more relaxed. She's not trying to force anything. She has 10 points already, 4 rebounds. She's 2 of 3 from 3 as well. I think Sheffield are going to have to talk over how they guard her in the ball screen, because they've gone under a couple of times and she's just stopped behind and she's netting them today. It's nice to see her step up to the plate. I know that was a big for her. She wanted to do that today, and I'm glad that she's proven herself right.
And you talked about it earlier, the importance of making a shot, and for her, she's able to use that as a weapon. You've seen her get into the teeth of the defense a couple of times.
Yeah, that's it. It just opens up so much more for her. When that shot's going down, she gets to attack long closeouts. You know, it's just so much more difficult as a defender when you have to run out to a three-point shooter. It's opening up a lot for her.
Well, the Hatters got a lot of work to do in that second half, but if anybody's up to the bill, it's head coach Vanessa Ellis, who is a staple in British basketball. So let's take a look at the legend herself and her journey.
The Sheffield Hatters was set up by my mum, Betty Cadona, 62 years ago, the first ever women's club in the UK. She was a pioneer, really. She was a PE teacher, had been on a course and fell in love with basketball and just ran it at school, and the girls loved it. And from there, she set up the club. People ask where Hatters come from. It's from Hatfield House Lane School, where she was at, and that's where the name came from. I played for the club, and we were very successful in the 90s, particularly, winning 33 out of 36 titles. And, you know, and it did carry on in the 2000s, not for me as a player. I finished, I think, 2002. But the success kept going in the 2000s, and that's just from my mum. She sets standards, expectations, and hopefully the legacy is there. You know, I'm really proud that we're still going and still going for my mum, really. It's only recently that I'm full-time coaching. Before that, I was a teacher, lecturer, and coaching as well as, you know, doing that full-time. So this last few years has been great to be able to just focus on the coaching. It's tough, it's hard, but, you know, I love the game, I'm passionate about it, and I think anything you love and passionate about is easy, really. It's a job I want to come to and enjoy. But it's really important that as a coach we are keeping that enjoyment. It's serious, you know, training can get serious, and today's been really competitive, but, you know, you've got to You've got to keep the players on an even keel and not let them get too sort of distracted by playing in a final. We do a great job in Sheffield to promote women's sport, girls basketball. You know, we're role models. If people don't see it, they can't be it. Our players, myself, the great volunteers at the club are working day in, day out to provide opportunities for girls to play basketball, but also provide role models so girls can see that basketball could be for them. If we can win when things haven't been easy, I think that really would be a great reward for the team. There's more than just the players, there's the people behind the scenes who've had to work hard this year to support us, to make sure that, you know, we can be on the court playing basketball.
Absolutely legendary. And we can't forget about her mom, Betty Cardona, who you have a personal story of.
Yeah, gosh, there's so many personal stories of her. She was just such an advocate for women, not just for women's basketball, but for women. I remember when I was small, my dad coached against her, and in the 90s, it was Sheffield, Sheffield, Sheffield. Betty never lost. I remember one time she said to me after we lost to them in the semi-finals, do you want to come and be a mascot for us in Wembley? That's where it was. And I remember saying to her, no, my dad's going to get there. My dad will get to the final one day. But that is just how dominant she was. Every single finals they were in. And she really laid the foundation for the club, but for the greatness that is the women's game right now.
Her daughter, Vanessa, how will she be feeling about that first half performance of her Hatters?
I think she will feel that it isn't a performance that they're used to having. You know, normally they only turn the ball over 13 times in an entire game. Well, right now, we're staring down the back of 10 turnovers already in the first half, and that's led to 10 points for Oakland. You can see here that Oakland's just getting out in the passing lane, finding easy scores at the other end in transition. It's just not what Sheffield do. They take care of the ball. They have the lowest turnovers in the league. So she'll just want them to get back to playing the way that they normally do, taking care of the ball and not allowing Oakland to be in their comfort zone, which is being the league leaders in steals.
Yeah, are those errors caused by fundamental personal errors, or is it a reflection of Oakland's defense?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's hard, and when there's a relentless pressure of someone always being there on the catch, always a hand in the passing lane, you have to be physical, you have to move at the right times and make sure that you're open for the pass. It's a little draining, and that has to come down to the individual players. They have to put in a little bit more to make sure that they are open at the right time, that they do have something on the catch, that they run over the ball and they're not turning the ball over. But all credit to Oakland's defense, it has caused that.
Well, let's get Oakland's perspective. Cass is their sideline with head coach Lee Ryan.
Lee, a 14-point lead heading into half-time. Are you pleased with that performance in the first half?
Yeah, we are. I think we managed the defensive end very well. Played them, managed their physicality, obviously reduced their pace points, which is really important for us so far. A couple of loose ball turnovers, so we need to tidy up that end of the game because we're punishing them with our tempo today. So as long as we're not turning the ball over, we've got to fancy ourselves to get good looks.
You mentioned it pre-game as well. 14 fast break points for you, a lot more Oakland style of basketball.
Yeah, and all players are locked in. Everyone, you can see they come off the bench, they've been ready to do our style of basketball. We've got to do again for another 20 minutes.
And a great first half from Sam Ashby as well, leading the team in scoring. Do you expect to continue that impact throughout the second half?
Yeah, she's been hot. She's had a great month for us lately. She's unconscious out there right now while she's shooting the ball. So she's obviously caused them a problem. Everyone else needs to be available when they start to rotate and take her out.
Thank you. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
Well, Vanessa Ellis has been to 18 finals as a coach and over 23 as a player. Only her mum has coached more finals than her. Only one of her teammates has been to more finals as a player than her, but there were not too many occasions during her playing career or her coaching career, whether in this sort of hole at halftime. What do the Hatters need to do to turn this round, Siobhan?
You know, I think that they just have to get back to who they are as a team, you know, and me and Drew were just talking about it there. They are a team who's efficient. They are a team who take care of the ball. They're a team that make the right play, that take the right options. They're a high percentage team, and that's what they've always been. They've always been an efficient team, and that is who they are, and they just need to get back to that.
Well, it is the third generation of the Cadona Empire who gets us underway, with Georgia Gale and the Hatters starting us off. They need a good start. Oh, and that's not it, with Gandini unable to reach the pass, and it's out of bounds.
Good backdoor cut from Harrison as well, was missed by Crisper there.
McRae drives to the rim, drops it back to Da Silva, helps it on. Here's Ashby. Ashby to the rim this time, can't convert. That will stay with Oaklands.
That's what it opens up for her, right? People have to run out at her. She can attack the long closeouts because she's just shooting the ball so well right now.
Into Da Silva. Good hands from Gale to bat that away. Here come the Hatters. Gandini circles back out. Crisper has room along the baseline and is fouled. And Beckford Norton's gone down hard, but able to get back to her feet.
He looks like a 21-year-old out there.
She said she's okay. I think there's been a warning to Lee Ryan. I don't know whether... Oh, it's a technical now. I'm not sure whether... Is it Beckford Norton? I think it is.
Yeah.
So Beckford Norton, I think, must have said something as she walked past the referee the first time, and that was what the warning was about.
Yeah.
And obviously didn't heed the warning, because said something that has resulted in a technical. So that's fouls number 2 and 3 for Shanice Beckford Norton.
She's a little rattled, I think. She looks a little bit shook up. You don't normally see that kind of emotion from Shanice. She's usually really good at regulating that during her games.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't...
yeah.
She did go down hard.
She did.
On that foul.
She did, and I think she felt that she was vertical, but I think because obviously her body was moving forwards.
Either way, the Hatters have got some points on the board as a result of it. Fatu loses it, but it falls nicely to Silva, who just has enough to get that over the front rim. Harrison will shoot 2. I think it was McGee Pleasant from behind. Yes, it is.
Sheffield doing a really good job being aggressive, attacking the rim. Already been to the line twice here early on in the third.
Second one doesn't go, but it's an offensive rebound and a second chance for the Hatters. Shot clock getting low here. Crisper having to go to work, has to sort of heave it and somehow gets it in.
Really good job of taking physical contact there. This little lefty finish over the left shoulder.
Ashby under great pressure, gets it over to Da Silva, and Gandini again in there, being disruptive defensively.
She really has quick hands. She's great, one pass away.
Harrison again taking it in. Ball battles about. Somehow she's got it back. And the foul is called. And Oakland's in, what have we played? Less than 2 minutes. Racking up the fouls here. Sheffield have an opportunity to get back in this from the free throw line, because that is the 4th foul of the quarter. So anything in the remaining 8 minutes at the offensive end will be free throws. Crisper wide open. Let's get that to go. Ashby running the floor and getting 4 fast break points.
So frustrating as a team when you know you come out and you're doing everything that you can, starting well, and then Sam Ashby just running the lanes, working hard in transition.
Oh, top little step back there from Shauna Harrison.
Baller. Say it again. She just knows how to play the game.
Well, they could do with a little bit more of that, the Hatters. Got it into single figures. And they've got to stop.
Nine points personal for Harrison.
Ooh, that pass is out of the reach of Crisper. And that will be given right back to Oaklands.
It's just those kind of unforced errors, really, that they're not used to seeing.
12 points for Ashby, the only player in double figures so far this afternoon. As McRae, she's so good at making that look easy.
There's really nothing that you can do about that. We saw that in the trophy final. Just a beautiful jump shot.
Gale. Harrison again trying to create, hits the deck hard. Gandini with the rebound. Harrison is slow to her feet. Singleton underneath, doesn't go. Oh, Harrison got the ball whacked into her head. She's still not quite right. Oakland's running it back, and foul is called, and Harrison's still a little shook up at the other end. Back on her feet, but a little gingerly walking back towards the bench.
See Coach Ellis just asking Shauna, are you okay? Shauna said yes, but Coach Ellis quite rightly just overruling her. She's hit her head. It's not a good look for Sheffield.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that to see how serious it is. Here's battle as we get it back underway. Fotu, nice pass, and McRae underneath for 2.
Really smart play. Creating 2-on-1 opportunity. Fotu.
Gandini.
Doing a great job of fronting the post as well, Oakland. Not allowing any easy catches inside.
Shot clock. Singleton has to fire up the 3. And 2 Oakland players getting each other's way. And we'll go out for a Hatters ball.
I don't know if that's something that Coach Lee Ryan's changed at halftime. I didn't notice them fronting the post in the first half, but that will be important if they continue to do that for Oaklands, because that's where Sheffield have had some success. You can see McRae in there with Singleton again.
The problem with it is it does put the offensive player in a good place for an offensive rebound.
Yeah.
Nice defense. Walker, did she keep it alive? She was just out of bounds, but a good stop.
Substitution. Nigel Collier checks into the ball game. Ty Singleton heads to the bench.
Wolves score from the end. Looking for options, finds McRae underneath. She just seems to be in the right place at the right time over the last few plays.
Yeah, she does. I think a little bit of a breakdown on the defensive end for the Hatters there. Too easy from the baseline out of bounds.
Gale. Oh, great pass. Oh, got to finish that one.
So patient to wait that extra second so she was able to send the bounce pass.
Oh, nice from McGee Pleasant. And they're ratcheting it up here the Wolves. It's out to 17, biggest lead of the game.
This is what they look like when they're playing free. We saw McRae in the trophy final. Now Pleasant getting in on the action. Such skilled players.
Crisper. Walker again, it's late shot clock. Again, it's a tough one against the defenders and the clock. Lee Pleasant pulls up from the free throw line, strings that one, and they are in their rhythm right now, the Wolves.
They are in their groove.
Tightened up at this end of the floor. Sheffield unable to get things going. Can't seem to stop the bleeding right now. Oakland's looking to pile on the pain. Well, 41-32 when that three-point shot went in. The last 12 points have all gone to the Wolves. Their lead is up past 20. And, well, they said they're going to be celebrating at the end. There's one or two early celebrations going on now.
She deserves it. You said the last 12 points to Oakland's, the last 6 points have gone to Pleasant. Just a beautiful stroke. She shoots in her own rhythm. Mid-range, nice little step back over Gale, and then Crisper here. That's the last one that we saw. She has a really nice rhythm going to the left there on the step back.
Well, she is into double figures now with 10 points and 6 rebounds, and it just feels, look, when you're up double figures, everything feels a little easier, but it just feels a little easier for Oakland right now.
I think so, and I think, again, we sound a little bit like a broken record, but when you're able to do the things that you choose to do first as a team, and you're not taken out of that, and you're in your comfort zone, you're playing your A game, and you're not having to go to anything else, that's the comfort. That's what feels good. That's why the pressure feels less. And now everybody within that system of what they've chosen to run as a group is able to find what they can find, what they always find day in, day out in practice and weekend out in the games.
Well, they've only lost once this season, the Wolves. Hatters trying to make it 2 here today, but it doesn't look like it's going to head that way right now, that's for sure.
Baseline possession for the Hatters to get us back on the way. Number 31,
it's that thing when you get a big lead and you're still 14 minutes to go. You've got to just keep doing what you've been doing to get there. Don't deviate away, because you know the other team's going to have to make a charge.
They showed a zone there. Oakland's coming out of the timeout. He's still in it, a 2-3.
It's kind of discombobulated the Hatters momentarily.
Yeah, it looks like a matchup.
Oh, tough finish though. Sometimes at the end you just find a way to break it through.
Great job from Collier. Great poise.
There's the hands of Gandini again, knocking it loose. Wolves able to keep it though. Beckford Norton drives, has it stripped, out of bounds, and that'll go back to Sheffield.
She's lost the handle on it, and she picks it up to go into her steps. It got tipped. Since Shauna Harrison went off, it's changed the game quite a lot as well for the Hatters.
Nice step through from Gale for the finger roll.
Ellis really asking for more ball pressure.
McRae can't convert. Good rotation from Gale.
Really trying to energize her team. She knows that these 2 minutes and 30 is so important to the outcome of the game in the end. They have to start doing some work to cut this lead down.
Nice step through, good finish as well at the end of it from Singleton. And there you go, it's a little mini win. You force them into a timeout, got a couple of buckets, couple of stops, and just making them think about it.
And I think, a good timeout, he was forced to do it, but he could equally have saved them until the fourth quarter. But a good timeout from Coach Lee Ryan as well. He knows how important it is to just keep that run at bay, to stop that run, and he wants to make sure that he does that himself with the instructions that he's giving his team in a timeout now, instead of allowing them to do that on the floor for themselves.
Well, it's interesting. We always talk about players, and they kind of need to go through that experience in the final. Coaches do too.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about your coaching when the lights are at their brightest.
Yeah, and I think, it sounds silly, but it is a brave decision to maybe take the time. It's only 2 minutes 23 left in the third quarter. You don't know what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. Maybe, I don't know, in the first final, does he wait it out and see what happens? I think a brave decision, and I think we won't find out until the end. But if it does mean that this stops the run, a really brave, smart decision from Coach Ryan there.
You guys round us off. Yes.
It's only 6 in a row, but it is 6 in a row. And that is... clock didn't start there, I don't think, or not quite on time. And that is the thing. The problem for Sheffield is 6 in a row is not enough right now. Now they need longer, more sustained runs. Well, Vanessa's in her defensive stance there. She's ready to double team there from the sideline.
20 seconds more on to the shot clock.
She's been like that the last couple of possessions.
Here's McRae. McGee Pleasant back to Sarson. 7 on the shot clock. Sarson under pressure. Loses the handle, is going to have to throw it here. Oh, somehow steps underneath, and what a finish from Beth Sarson.
Classic Beth Sarson, nice step through, good scoop shot. I think when things like that happen, she got a little bit of luck getting to the rim there. Kind of feels like it's Oakland's day.
Oh, here's Gale from deep. Hatters again on the offensive glass. Gonna shoot here. Gale scoops it up, doesn't hit the rim. Oakland's come away with it. There's Gandini again.
Yeah, such
disruptive.
great hand.
McGee Pleasant goes through the contact to finish.
Just overpowers Gandini there.
Nice, that's what you can get fronting the post. McRae with the steal. Sarson out in front, drops it back to McGee Pleasant. Tried the circus shot and ended up on the floor. It doesn't quite matter when you're up 19, I guess.
Well, and I think, look, the difference is that she's gone and tried that in the final. I think we wouldn't have seen that from them in the trophy final. This is Oakland's playing with the joy and the fun that they play with. She just apologized to Coach Ryan for trying that shot there.
No apology needed for this one. Just kept with it, didn't panic even though the shot clock was ticking down, and found a way. Sarson under all sorts of pressure, eventually is fouled by Black.
Foul calls against number 2, Zaya Black.
Trying to fight over the screen just a little too aggressively.
For the Oakland Wolves.
It's the second team foul for Hatters this quarter.
Well, we talked about Beth Sarson. Obviously had a little time away at Leicester. Did get to a final, was a runner-up with them. But it would mean a lot to her, no doubt, if they could find a way to win here today.
I think out of everyone that's on the floor for Oakland, it would mean so much to Beth. She started there as a youngster, played a lot of her basketball there, and as an adult as well, played a lot of her basketball at Oaklands. It is a home for her, and she talks about it being a family.
And those are always the people in moments like this, as well, they're potentially 10 minutes away from that first ever piece of silverware. It's always the people that have come before you that you sort of connect to in moments like this.
It is, and I think knowing the history of the club as well is really important.
Oh, it's going to be an 8-second violation here. Get it over the halfway line. Sorry to cut across you there.
Not at all.
Against the Sheffield Hatters, Oakland Wolves possession.
They're going to inbound it from the other side of the floor. They only get 14 seconds on the shot clock. McRae at the elbow. That was a good challenge. It's kept in play. Walker also keeps it in play. Tremendous hustle.
Nice to see Shauna Harrison back on the floor.
Nice pass as well. Walker for three. It rattles in.
Smart player, Shauna Harrison.
Still a few seconds left for Oaklands here. Trying to get those three back. McGee plays off the mark, and that will do it. For the third quarter, well, you wouldn't know it looking at Lee Ryan there. He looks the calmest man in the building, but the heart rate must be going because he knows how close his team is with 10 minutes to play. It's the Oakland Wolves 58, Bieber and Sheffield Hatters 41, and all they have to do is keep doing what they've done for the last 30 minutes for 10 more.
And that's exactly what I was thinking in my head, and that's why I had a little chuckle, because it sounds so simple. Just do what you've been doing. Look at the numbers. They speak volumes. Keep getting to the free throw line. 8 steals, so Sheffield did a better job of looking after the ball in that quarter. But you're right, as long as Oakland's continue to do what they've been doing for 3 quarters, it's really
ultimately it comes down to putting the ball in the basket. Sheffield have only done that 15 times. They've done it at 28%.
Yeah, the percentages.
And that is really about the pressure, the difficulty that they've faced from this Wolves defense.
Completely. We talked about it in the half-time show, that they've not improved on their percentages much in this half, but it is just like you said, it's testament to the Oakland's defense that anytime someone goes up to shoot the ball, there's a hand in their face. Anytime they want to score in the lane, they're getting bumped.
Because the other thing is that Sheffield started this quarter really well, got those early fouls on Oakland, narrowed the gap, but they didn't really take advantage of it. Having got 8 minutes to go to the free throw line with every foul, Oakland's did a good job of not committing fouls.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think just a little adjustment in the defense from Oakland. They didn't take down the pressure, but they were just playing pressure defense without fouling, which is what we'd seen them do in the first half. And they just lacked a little bit of discipline in that spell there. But yeah, great job for them to make that adjustment, and a much better defense from them towards the end of the third quarter.
Well, with 10 minutes to go, Oaklands are on the brink of their first ever major title in top division women's basketball. For Sheffield, this is about belief here. Do they still believe? Do they still have it within them? They have to win the first 3 or 4 minutes to put the seed of doubt into Oakland's heads.
And I think that's why the last couple of minutes of the quarter, we were saying Coach Ellis was so animated on the sideline, because she understood how important going into that quarter break was with the momentum.
Ooh, Battles passes a little high. Black is able to come away with it, trying to drop it back, and Da Silva does enough to... Oh, I thought Da Silva knocked that out, but it's going to go to the Wolves.
Kate has X-ray vision. I'd never question a call from Kate.
Well, they're all lining up. They're all lining up as if they thought it was a Sheffield ball.
She is sure.
Well, Sarson was going to throw it the length of the court there because Sheffield hadn't got back on defence, but that did look in real time from our angles if it went out off to Silva.
Trust Kate. I know you're not used to hearing me say these.
Well, I know
referees, but Kate is.
I remember watching a few finals, Siobhan, where you were questioning of referees.
Never
you were
Kate.
playing in them.
Never Kate. She's never wrong.
Collier, little jab step, but Ashby just takes the ball away from her.
Really active closeout from Ashby. Hands and feet.
Ashby in the corner for three, off the mark.
Not hit one in the second half, Ashby. She was stringing him in the first.
Shot clock down to 7. Walker needs to get it away here, has to heave it, does well just to draw iron, to be honest with you.
3-on-2 here.
Offensive foul on Backel. Walker taking it.
Offensive foul called.
A little bit of a stagnant start here in the fourth.
Gandini, Gale and Briscoe return.
Just that off arm, really.
Collier and Walker. Sarson next to the bench.
Gandini, Gale, Crisper. Got the first 90 seconds off. Now it's go out there and win these last 8.5 by 18, if you can. Crisper. Knocked away, not out of bounds, off Crisper, and it will go back. Silva. Fotu for 3, front iron to Silva with the offensive rebound. Beckford Norton drive, kick. This time it splashes for 3. Fotu in the corner.
It's devastating from Fotu at this time of point in the game, and a turnover.
Ashby with the steal. Beckford Norton thought about firing up another triple. There's an offensive foul call. Gale ended up on the floor. Silva's pleading for a flop. But this is the thing. These shots feel much easier in the fourth quarter when you're up 20.
Agreed. Really sharing the ball well. Oakland's doing a great job.
Was there a technical called? I think there was.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Lee Ryan
Technical
has been
foul
called
against Oakland Wolves head coach Lee Ryan.
for the tee. We had a long conversation with Kate Unsworth and then received his punishment in the end. Singleton cannot convert from the foul line. Well, the Sheffield men's team in the house watching behind the table, and they were hoping for a double celebration later. There's the men's team. Doesn't look like it's going that way for now. Don't forget, you can see the Sharks against Surrey Niners right after this. Here's Gale driving to the basket, off the glass and off the mark. Fotu has hurt herself, gone down.
It looked like she was holding a knee.
Well, it's not a good sign, is it? She's going to slide her way off court. Whether it's the knee or the hamstring, I'm not quite sure, but it looks like her afternoon might well be done. She's certainly contributed to this with 7 points, 4 assists, 3 steals, plus 20 on the old plus minus. So they haven't won the minute she's been off the court.
Such an important player for Oaklands on this cup run. It's a shame to see her go off in that way. Hopefully she's okay.
Battle down the middle, rejected by Singleton. That will stay with the Wolves.
Sam Ashby to inbound.
Offensive foul called again on Battle on the roll.
Foul called against number 25, Terry Battle.
The third foul.
Not sure there'll be too many concerns about that. As long as the clock keeps ticking, the Wolves fans will be happy. Lobbed into Singleton, who finishes underneath. Crispin Gale trying to prize that away from Battle. Jump ball is the call, so Hatters will get the ball back. On the possession arrow. Well, Vanessa Ellis looking up at the clock. We talked about her storied career as both a player and a coach. Doesn't look like she'll be adding to a huge collection of winners' medals today, but it is great to see the Hatters back at this level. It's been way too long, really, of them not reaching finals. And you and I grew up, Hatters were in every final.
That was the only team that you could guarantee was going to be in a final. But it's great to see them. They are showing the Sheffield way. They're fighting all the way till the end here.
Out of bounds, it's a Wolves ball. McRae. Tough shot. Oh, she just hits tough shots. That's what she does.
Yeah, she does. Hand in her face. I think she shoots a higher percentage with someone's hand in her face.
Third player into double figures for the Wolves. Gale stepping round. And a big slap down vaguely at the ball from Georgia Gale there. I think that was a frustration foul. She's had a rough night shooting. So many of them have been those sorts of shots, but McRae certainly hasn't. Look at that. As you say, I don't know that defensively you can do any more than that. It's just good offense.
She releases it right at the top of her jump as well. Really smooth. It's beautiful to watch.
Bedford Norton creates a little room, but Singleton grabs the rebound.
Foul called into the 30, Sam Ashby. Substitution. Bristol heads to the bench.
Russell's going to check in for the first time for Sheffield with 5 minutes to play.
Nice to see her get some time on the court. She's from Nottingham, grew up playing at Nottingham Wildcats, so I know she'll have a lot of fans in the building.
There you go, first touch. Oh, I thought it was going in. You're allowed transfer from Nottingham to Sheffield.
No, sacrilege.
Thought you'd have been blocking the M1 to prevent that. Here's Gale. Nice pass. Harrison lays it in.
Georgia just showing you how much it means to her. She's fighting right to the end for her family's legacy, for this club's success.
Ashby, nice pass. Battle is denied by Russell. Ooh. There's a bit of a come together there between McRae and Gale. With the arm, and Coach Ryan calling for timeout. And I just wonder whether this is just to try and dial it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Been a physical game all the way through, but you're up 18 with 4 minutes to play. You don't need to do anything that gets the referees interested, shall we say.
Yeah, and also that just ruins the rhythm that you've got in your own team. I think, you know, I think there's a fine line between physicality being a positive thing for your team and a negative thing for your team. And I think if they get into a back and forth with the physical that's not necessarily a positive thing, it can just stop the flow, you know, and they want to be out there and when they win, if they win, it looks like they're going to. They want to do it in a way that shows who they are as a club, and I think they've done that so far because they've just let the offense flow, and I think they need to continue to do that. And maybe Coach Ryan's just reminding them, you know, let's continue, let the offense flow, continue to move the ball with each other, continue to play defense without fouling. That's why they've been so good up to this point.
Well, you saw on the graphic there, 3 Oaklands players in double figures. Only Harrison, who's only just got there for Sheffield. You also saw the shooting percentages of the other leading scorers for Sheffield, low numbers. And that has been the story of the game for the Hatters. The reality is they've been in the 20s from field goal percentage all game long. They haven't been able to get the scoreboard ticking consistently.
Versus good, 1 to go. Two to the line for Georgia Gale.
Well, the Sheffield fans who came for a double might have to settle for a single. Unless the Surrey Niners can cause the upset. Well, Harrison is on the deck again. Slow to her feet. Second time she's been hit hard today. Been through the wars.
She's a tough player.
She could do with a stoppage, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Gandini with the rebound.
Yeah, she looks like she's struggling a little bit.
Well, she got winded. It looks like she was holding her side there. Trying to feed that into Singleton. Gandini, deep 3. Marshall got a hand on it, but Gale commits the foul.
Foul ball against number 7. Georgia Gale, Sean Harrison will head to the bench.
Well, Harrison leaves the play, I suspect, for the last time. Beckford Norton. Ashby has a little glance at the clock. Still got plenty of time to work with, and work with it she does as she drives through. And we'll go to the free throw line. The other thing you saw on that previous scoring graphic is how well they've spread the points. That their leading scorer has 12, 63 between them. It's not really been a standout performance where somebody's dominated the game. It's been a team effort, and particularly at the defensive end.
Yeah, but I think that's reflective of Oaklands as a team, you know. I think we've seen Ashby in recent times really start to lead from a points perspective for them, but they are a team that shares the ball, and they have a lot of strength in depth. You hear teams across the league talk about that. But I think for me, with Ashby, she really got them going in the first half, and that was really important if they were going to go ahead and win this game after the trophy final loss.
Beckford Norton circles back out. Here's Ashby. Shot clock getting low. Double team. McRae on the turnaround. Well, that would have been the most ridiculous of all the shots she's made today if that one went in.
I was almost expecting it.
Yeah. Bandini. Little change of pace there. Slowed it down to lull the defender. Beckford Norton along the baseline. Pass is deflected. Ooh, might be a push off there. Beckford Norton hitting the deck. Foul is called against Collier.
Great defensive play. She needs Beckford Norton in the driving lane. Exactly where she needs to be.
Well, 2 minutes to play here. 2 minutes for Oakland Wolves to run the clock down and claim their first title. They had their hearts broken in possibly the most heart-wrenching way in Birmingham in January in the trophy final. But here in Nottingham, they've shown exactly what they're all about as a team, as a club, as players and coaches. Shot clock mistakenly reset there. And I think that will be the thing that probably pleases Lee Ryan the most at the end of it, that you saw the real face of the Oakland Wolves today.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing, I think, as a collective for them when they came out of the trophy final was, yes, the loss, but more that they just didn't have fun and they didn't play the way that they've been playing all year. And that was, I know, a big goal of theirs was to go out, play their own game, enjoy each other as they do off the court in the same way on the court, and I think they've really done that today.
Well, Ashby sits down. I think she just took a moment there to reflect, to sort of almost realise the achievement of the moment.
Yeah, big moment. Big moment for her, big moment for the club. A really big moment for Michael Ball. Really pleased for him and his wife Esther, the amount of work that has gone into Oaklands as a programme over the years has been tremendous, and it's so great to see.
Drew talked about it at the top that, you know, they spent a lot of time down the other end of the table in women's basketball, and it is a tremendous development program, as to is Sheffield, to be fair, in terms of bringing through the next generation of talent, and we've seen some of that out on court. Obviously, they've sprinkled in a few foreign faces along the way as well, and seem to have got the perfect blend this season.
Yeah, you're right. They do a great job at their academy as well in WEABL, and I know one player out there who's seen a couple of minutes today, Bo Frost. She's a GB U18 player now. Seen some minutes with the senior women as well, but it just shows that they are really committed to British basketball and to improving British players as well. Really nice to see them shining as well.
But it gives you that opportunity, as a timeout is called, it gives you that opportunity to sort of like sell yourself to the rest of the country when you can succeed at the very top level, as they are 57 seconds away from doing. And this is, well, it's interesting, he's called a timeout, he's going to draw up a play because there's 5 seconds on the shot clock. He's not looking at the scoreboard and thinking, this one's in the books, he's thinking, one more play.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do as a coach, isn't it? You have to think about, how am I coaching the game play by play? Because it's the culture that you set yourself, and it's the culture that you set your team, and that carries over. So wanting to get the most out of every possession possible is something that he set out to do for his team, and he has to lead the way with that.
Must be an interesting mix in the mind of the players there, who know how close they are to the celebrations, but still got to do the right things. Let's see what was on that play board.
57 seconds remaining.
I don't think it was that. Silva was the out. Beckford Norton has to shoot here. I don't think that was quite as it was drawn up.
I don't think so either.
But it matters not. Oh, good hands. But Gale's able to keep possession. Russell. Bandini taken away by Sarson. And that will be a hell ball.
Possession arrow in favour of the Oaklands Wolves.
The Wolves will get the ball back. They've got one more offense to play out. McRae hands it off to McGee Pleasant. He's probably their final scorer of the game, Oaklands. The celebrations can begin in earnest. The bench are getting up. The high fives are going. Gale gets one last bucket, but all Shanice Beckford Norton has to do is advance the ball to the front court and don't get an 8-second violation and let time expire. And the Oakland Wolves, for the first time in their history, have landed silverware in Super League basketball. The celebrations can begin. They are the 2025 Cup champions. Well, a look of sort of elation and almost stunned disbelief, I think, there for Coach Ryan, just trying to process the achievement.
It's a lot to process. I think, when you work so hard for something, and Lee's been at Oaklands as well since it started, so just really great to see success for him, success for the club.
Again, these are the moments that everything you've done, all the building for years and years and years, come to fruition on a day like today, and you can show to everybody what you're all about and the success that you can attain. And
I think it's really important, after they made their first final and they lost one, to win another one so quickly afterwards. Just get over that hump, and now they'll be looking forwards. After they've enjoyed this today, they'll be looking forwards to what's left to win this year.
I thought it was really telling right at the top of the show. All of the discussions that were had were, we're here to win this one. We enjoyed the occasion last summer. Maybe we took the occasion it was too much for us, but this is about winning now.
There's a really clear difference, I think, in the interviews that they gave, and just talking to the players as well before the game. They were ready for this one. Like we said at the top of the show, there were no surprises today. They played in an arena, they played in a final now before, and today was just about going out there, playing a game of basketball and putting their best show and making sure that they played the way that Oaklands have been playing throughout the season this year.
Well, it was a really impressive performance. Let's get some reaction now. Shanice Beckford Norton is with Kaz.
Shanice, congratulations. You've won on so many different levels as a player, but the first silverware in Oakland's history. How are you feeling?
No, it's amazing. Leading up to this and even leading up to the trophy, we spoke about how much winning a trophy would mean to Lee and Beth, someone who's been, people who have been with the club for ages. So I think all of us are quite happy for them, and just the organization as a whole. And we've always spoken about how well-rounded we are as a team, and today really showed that with multiple people getting on the scoreboard. And even on the bench, everyone was so locked in from the beginning. Lee said to us before at halftime that we looked locked in, and I think that's the way it stayed from beginning to end.
And a real all-round team performance. You alluded to it there, but is that just reflective of how you played this season?
Yeah, this week we kind of we took a step back after the Newcastle game and after the trophy, and we just had to revisit who we are. Lee made us like kind of point out everyone's strengths, and that's all we had to bring today. Instead of everyone trying to do everything, everyone doing what they're best at, and which is why we got the win today.
Well, congratulations. I'll let you get out there and celebrate with the team.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting. You wonder if that Newcastle defeat actually was a little blessing in disguise in terms of just refocusing the mind ahead of this final. Well, whatever it was, whether it was the fire that burns within, whether it was the disappointment of the trophy, whether it was the defeat against Newcastle, or whether it's just good old-fashioned talent and team play, they have seen it through today, and they will party long into the evening. That's the beauty of these early games. You get a long time to celebrate afterwards. Well, we are now pulling together for the presentation, and the two teams are set and ready to go. And first of all, we will go with the runners-up, the Beborn Sheffield Hatters, far and away the most successful team in basketball history in this country. They've been to twice as many finals as any other club in the history of the game. They've enjoyed so much success down the years, but today was not the day for them. And Georgia Gale, as we say, the third generation of Hatters royalty, the lineage of Betty Cardona, who set the club up in the 60s all the way through to her now, and of course Vanessa Ellis as well, the head coach. And we talked about what it means to those who've come through the program and those who have come to the program as well, immersed in that culture, that history, that winning. But that one goes straight into the pocket to Vanessa Ellis. But as I've said a couple of times, great to see the Hatters back on the main stage. But now is the moment that Oaklands have waited for the first time in their club history. The Oakland Wolves will be lifting some silverware, and the beauty of it is everybody contributed in this game. Everybody did what they were supposed to do, what they were meant to do, what they were signed to do, and they will all be able to enjoy it as they get their medals, and they will really celebrate this one. Beth Dawson as well, we talked about her in the trophy final and the years of service she's given to this program. Whether you've been here for what feels like a lifetime or just a few months, it all feels the same, the success. And Ashby, another one of those who's really contributed. As Siobhan said earlier, when it started off, she was pulling the strings. She was the one that got them going. Really, they built that lead and they never quite relinquished it. And that will be credit to him and his team, and the way they played defense, the way they made life super difficult for and you can see Otto on crutches with some ice, but still able to get that medal. Obviously, that injury a little significant. Hopefully not too bad. We'll get our MVP now.
Finishing with 3 steals, 8 rebounds, and 12 points. The MVP, number 30, Sam Ashby!
Sam Ashby, I mean, it was such a team performance, we weren't quite sure which way it was going to go, but as I say, she really set the table for them in the early stages of the game, and therefore she gets the golden Molten basketball as the MVP. Pose for the pictures, that one will be on the wall at home, I should imagine, and certainly on the screensaver on the phone in these days. A really excellent performance. And she gets to go back. There is only one presentation left to make, and that is for the trophy itself. Shanice Beckford-Norton, who's got more experience than this than anybody else, is just explaining, this is what I'm going to do. This is the motion from here to there to here to there, as they do. Shanice Beckford-Norton, who draws level with Holly Winterburn now as the most successful player in WBBL SLB era women's basketball, with her 14th title, and she will pose alongside the chairman Jim Saker for the pictures. The biggest grin in Nottingham today is that of Shanice Beckford-Norton, and all the snappers getting their pictures. The Cup champions for 2025 are the Oakland Wolves. Well, the ticker tape flies and the party can start. They've been the dominant team through the first few months of the season. They were unbeaten in the league until very recently. They made it all the way to the final of the trophy, but had their hearts broken, but not today. Today they made sure it is they who is celebrating. It is they who has the confetti draped across them, posing for the pictures. And what a moment for Oakland Wolves and everybody connected with the club. A tremendous performance, not only today, but all the way through this competition, all the way through this season. And they are thoroughly deserving of their moment of celebration. They've dominated this game. They jumped on Sheffield early in the first quarter, and they never relented. A really strong defensive performance and a great team offensive performance as well to keep the Hatters at bay. There were a few moments in that second half, maybe the start of the quarter, the third quarter for certain, that it looked like Sheffield might get some momentum, but Oakland snatched it away, and they are the champions. Let's send it back to the studio with Drew and Siobhan.
Thanks, Dan. The Oakland Wolves with their first ever title in franchise history, taking advantage of a second opportunity. Da Silva predicted they will be celebrating. That was the best version of the Wolves.
It was the best version of them. That is the Wolves that are fun to watch, that are having fun out there. Like we said at the top of the show, they love each other's company, and today they brought that onto the court, and it was really nice to see.
And you can see they were able to feed off the experience from the first final, because as you mentioned, they look so much more comfortable than 2 months ago.
So much more comfortable, and it was almost like, okay, we know what this looks like now. There are no surprises. Let's go out there and let's play our game. And if at the end of that game we win, we're going to be super happy about it. And I think they just focused on every moment of the game today. They shared the ball really, really well, but I really have to credit their defense. I think that is what set them apart today.
I asked you at the top of the show, was Fotu their best defender, and she really set the tone.
She really, really did. She loves playing defense. You can tell she likes to get up into people, and it did really set the tone for them today. They created 22 turnovers for Sheffield, which is just unheard of for them.
Absolutely, and looking from Sheffield's perspective, they just could never get anything going.
No, and it was just so bitty for them, 30% they shot from the field. Unlike them, again, they're usually a really efficient team, but it is all credit to Oakland's defense. It was relentless.
From start to finish, a flawless performance. And I heard you guys talking there at commentary about how that loss to Newcastle next week was a blessing in disguise for Oakland. And sometimes it works that way.
I think sometimes you have to know that you're beatable, because you can be a little complacent. Whether you mean to step on the court and be complacent or not is another story. But I think maybe, like you said, a blessing in disguise.
Well, they were able to get it done. And the MVP, Carolina's sideline with Sam Ashby.
So excited. I mean, I think we really deserved that win, but to actually prove how we can play. MVP, baby! To actually prove how we can play and be as a team, that just felt amazing.
And how does it feel to do it with this group? You've got your GB teammates out there, Shanice and Bo, and you're a really tight-knit group.
We've come together really fast this year and getting to spend a lot of time together. I mean, we're living in houses right next to each other. We're constantly in each other's rooms. Like, it's been really great to go through the year with them.
And your defence really set the tone, held Sheffield to 40 points under their average. How did you come out with that intention?
We knew that Sheffield are a good team. We knew we were going to have high intensity, stop them from scoring, and that's what we did.
Well, congratulations. I'll let you go and celebrate with the team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much deserved performance, MVP Sam Ashby. And you don't see many MVPs with 12 points, but that is a reflection of Oakland's multiple players in double figures. You see the stats there, just a complete dominant game.
Yeah, 15 assists as well for them. They really shared the ball well. I think the other stat that we talked a little bit about before the game was rebounds. They won the rebound battle today, 48 to 43. And they also won second chance points. So they had 11 to Sheffield 6, and that was a big thing we talked about going into the game, is making sure that Sheffield didn't get the offensive rebounds that they usually got, and they did a great job on the defensive boards today.
Well, the ability to force turnovers, 22 to be exact, but then capitalize off of that, 20 points off of those turnovers, just a huge difference there.
A really big difference, and what it allows them to do is get those easy buckets. You know, you put the work in on the defensive end, and especially when you step out onto the floor in a final, you want some easy buckets just to settle the team down, and I think that's what they really relied on in the first half.
Well, you heard from the MVP. Let's hear from the winning coach, Lee Ryan, as he's down sideline with Kaz.
Lee, congratulations, a big win over Sheffield. How are you feeling, all the work that you've put into the programme over the years?
Yeah, elated. I love this team. I love this team so much. Their energy, the way they work, the way they come together. It's just been from day one. Their chemistry has been the thing that's kept us going all the way through. And it's great to be able to get this one over the line. Obviously, we didn't feel like we did ourselves justice in the previous one, so to come out here and play and dominate in the way we did, I think it was really good.
And I spoke to Sam, but a really dominant defensive performance as well. You also held Sheffield to just 3 from behind the three-point line. Was that something you looked to try and close down?
Yeah, we know their strengths, so we talked about their really good inside out, so we have to neutralise their bigs in the first place, and then you have to be able to close out really well on all their shooters. They've got a lot of hot players from outside, so that was a big part of our scouts. We did a great job. And yeah, defensively, I think both ends of the floor, there's just moments. This team comes up with moments where we're a little bit down, a little bit of adversity in a game, and we come up with a stop, or we come up with a big score from one of our big players, and yeah, they just find a way. They're amazing.
And speaking of big players, Sam Ashby, MVP, a great performance from her. Can you just talk about the impact she has out there on the court for the team?
Yeah, she's huge. Like I said in the halftime, she's been on such a good run lately. Her confidence is through the roof, and we feed off that. And we know that teams have to really get out there and guard her and play, so it stretches the floor and gives other people more time and space. So she's really valuable for our team. Amazing player, amazing character.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations, and go and celebrate.
Thanks so much. We will. Cheers. Bye.
Well, that is one proud coach. To be able to see this project through, Siobhan, he was there when the Oakland Wolves were there in the basement, to now seeing them lift the trophy. How special is that?
It's so special, and I think we just one quick word for Sheffield and how amazing their program is over the years. But this is the start for Oaklands, and really, really pleased both for Lee and for Michael. They put so much work in at Oaklands, and it's really nice to finally see it pay off.
Well, you talked about the investment in the program. Is this a start of a dynasty potentially?
You never know. You never know. Watch this space.
Well, just final thoughts. A great day for British basketball. It was International Women's Day yesterday. Just talk about the progress of women's sports, and specifically basketball in our league.
Yeah, it's progressing daily. It's progressing all the time. But I think, one of the great things about coming to watch women at the top of their game is you see how they can embody whoever they want to be. They can be physical. They can talk a little trash if they want to. They can be competitors. And it's really sort of breaking down those stereotypes that women have been held to for a long, long time. And that's not who we are. We can be who we want to be, and we can compete, and we can do special things, which is what we saw today.
Well, the Oakland Wolves are your first ever SLB Cup champions, and is this a start of something to come? We shall see. Well, we thank you guys for joining Siobhan and I, but make sure you guys stay tuned. The men's is up next. The B. Bron Sheffield Sharks take on the Surrey 89ers. We'll see you next time.